Hi and welcome back. I'm Jody.
I'm Devin.
And today we're talking about sex.
Oh, great.
I knew that would excite you.
Excuse me while I think about sex for a second. And the great thing about sex is that when you first have sex with a partner, perhaps sometimes you got to do it consciously.
True.
You know, when she first starts taking off her clothes and you get all excited, and if you're younger, you don't really know what to do, so you have to consciously be aware of everything that happens. Now, the conscious mind, what we're going to be getting at later on in this video, can handle 7 plus or minus 2 pieces of information.
At any given time.
So when you're first having sex and you're like thinking about it, you got to think about the whole deal. Taking my clothes off, I got to have different positions, I have to think about my face going like this, the pumping action.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot going on there.
First few times you have sex with a stranger, sometimes you go on overload, you know, and then after a while you get more calm and relaxed and everything just becomes unconscious. Because your unconscious mind can handle 2.5 million bits of information. So somebody who has sex all the time, like myself, can just do it unconsciously. I'm not even aware of all the great facial positions that I have going on, or the stories that you're telling me all the time.
I can do it with my eyes closed.
Exactly.
Look, Mom, no hand.
This is brilliant, Jody Lee. All this sex talk's making me horny. Anyways, regardless, coming through to it all, getting down to the nitty-gritty, we're talking about the 7 plus or minus bits of information in the conscious mind, 2.5 million bits in our unconscious mind.
Wow, it's a bit of a difference.
We live our lives unconsciously. That's how it is. That's what we're getting at. We live our lives unconsciously. The things that you do in your life, the things that I say, what I speak right now, it comes from my unconscious mind. I'm not consciously saying, well, this is what I'm going to say next. You know, for example, when you shake a hand, you put your hand out, you're not going, I need to bend my elbow 45 degrees, I need to keep my fingers tight, do a firm grip. Right, excellent, excellent. Okay, now we can shake hands. Doesn't work like that.
That's a conscious thing I've added recently.
However, when you're first learning to shake a hand, at some point you're going to have to go, well, I have to do all these actions.
True, just like driving a car. Hopefully when you first start learning to drive a car, you're doing it pretty consciously.
Hopefully.
For the safety of the other drivers at least out there, if not for yourself. And as you begin to be a regular driver, you start to do things unconsciously. You can drive unconsciously. You can drive stick and do your mascara at the same time while doing your lipstick. It's quite unbelievable. Right, what you can do with your unconscious mind.
Now, the next part, what we're getting into, is about what happens is, because our conscious mind can only hold 7 pieces of information,
Plus or minus 2.
Plus or minus 2. We have to ask ourselves, well, what is that information?
True.
Because, you know, if there's something that you're frustrated about, something that's getting you that you feel frustrated or confused about, chances are your unconscious mind is wanting something, and your conscious mind is making up 100 excuses why it can't happen. Think about losing weight. Simple example. You know unconsciously that you have to go to the gym or you have to have an exercise routine if you want to get fit or healthy. Mm-hmm. But yet consciously you got 20 excuses right off the top of your head. I'm too busy, I work too hard, I'm tired, the kids are at home in bed, and I can't go out.
Right, and like you said, sometimes you've told me this before, privately, sometimes they're actually valid, great excuses. They can be good excuses.
Oh yeah, I got the best excuse. They're right. They're real, true excuses.
Yes. They're
true. The thing is at the same time, they're not true. They make me sick.
Yes.
I have this one thing that I have to do. It's just one thing. I know I have to do it in order to move on with my life. I know what I have to do, how to do it, and everything, and yet I'm like, well, I make up these great, perfect excuses, which are so true.
Right, and then you get frustrated and sick or whatever it may be because unconsciously you have this conflict, this struggle going on in your mind. On a conscious level, you're convincing yourself it's okay because these are my reasons why. But unconsciously, you know this is something you need to do or that is for the greater good.
And you end up bringing yourself down.
Right.
And we can fix that.
Let's do it.
This is Well, it's brilliant what you said, actually, about how we have our conscious mind. So what we need to do is when you have that thing that it is that you want to do that's frustrating you, there's a simple method for this. First of all, write down your 7 excuses.
Right.
You might have more, you might have less, plus or minus 2. Maybe you have 10, maybe you have 12 excuses, whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
Write down those excuses, and then write down the positive benefit of accomplishing this thing.
Right. So you write down all your excuses, say about 7 plus or minus 2, and then you write down the positive intention or the positive thing that's going to come out of doing this.
And you're going to train yourself. Once you learn consciously, you focus on that positive thing consciously, you're going to want to achieve it, because that's one thing.
Yeah, so then you forget about all the excuses and you focus on that one positive intention. Because the thing is with the unconscious mind, which is amazing, is that a lot of times out of all the negative things we attract or the negative behaviors we may have or whatever it may be in our life, there's always a positive intention behind that. And this is true because the unconscious mind has learned something either from the past, from past experiences or just past learnings. There's a million ways we learn things that it does not want, it does not like. So some type of pain or suffering or uncomfortableness. And it says, okay, unconsciously, I realize that this creates this pain or this suffering. So I want to make sure to avoid this situation at all costs. Well, sounds easy. But how does your unconscious mind go about doing that? It looks for those situations. So again, it can, when it gets into those situations, it can say, yes, exactly, this is what I'm talking about. I don't want this. For sure, I know for sure now. And it's actually just trying to protect you. So there is a positive intention out of all this. Just like in relationships, great example. How many times do you hear people say, oh, I'm always attracted to the same type of person, even though I know this type of person is not ideal for me. I get into these situations and I'm unhappy. It creates whatever bad situation. But unconsciously, it's your unconscious mind trying to convince you that this is not what you want, trying to protect you on some level or another.
Right.
So what we have to do is, I mean, the best thing to do is obviously talk to one of us and see someone, a therapist or like a NLP practitioner, someone that can, hypnotherapist that can reframe for you, help you reframe your unconscious mind.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have
one-on-one.
a 6-step reframe that's pretty fabulous.
Exactly. That's an ideal situation. But you can do this yourself. This is why we're giving you the tools to try and do this yourself.
True.
Obviously, it's not always as easy when you do these things on your own. But whatever, life isn't always easy, right? And the more you stick with it and the more you do it like anything, you develop a pattern and a habit. And that's what it's about. And sometimes you'll fall off. Again, whatever. You have to just pick yourself back up and say, you know, dust yourself off.
Yeah.
Start all over again. It's okay. Even if you fall off.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Getting back to that relationship thing, even
Right.
if you find yourself one of those people who gets attracted to all the wrong type of person, again, just go ahead, write down those 7 things that you don't want. I don't want this, I don't want this, then write down the what do you want.
Right.
And now, even if it's just one thing, who cares? It's one thing. You write down one thing, you're looking for that one thing now. You're actually teaching your unconscious mind to look for one thing that you do want.
Right.
You find that one thing you do want, you're going to want to find 2 things that you do want. And you find 2 things that you do want, pretty soon you're going to be overwhelmed by finding things that you do want.
Right. And another way to even just add to this exercise is simple steps, just like you've heard before a million times, is keeping a gratitude journal or something. Just making a note of the things you can be grateful for. The little things like, yes, I'm breathing today. Good one. I have a video, either a phone or some type of computer to watch these YouTube videos with. Little things. It's just shifting your existence as it is right now into a more positive light. And from there, you're training your unconscious to start looking for the positive things, not the negative things.
True.
Because your unconscious is trying to find the positive things for you. It just thinks that that's the way it has to go about it, by protecting you.
Right. And you do that by learning consciously first.
Exactly.
Very simple. Simple, simple, simple. And you can go out from this day on, this next day forward, and even if you don't notice exactly, perhaps with those things that you have gratitude for, just allow them to pass right into your unconscious mind, and as you will become more aware of the thing that you do want.
Right.
Want something. simple. Want something. And if you want something, and if you put yourself first, then everyone will thank you.
Yes, they will. And if you want something bad enough, then you will do it.
Exactly. Knowing that you are